Recently, I took part in Digigods Digigames, and you may be a bit confused and not know what this actually is. So let me explain. As you can see next to me, Digigames is the biggest VR creator tournament ever, with all of your favourite creators taking part. And these were some big names such as Bethia, Styled Snell, Eric151, Cryptic, and even maybe Purple Guy, who was actually in my group. And this was so cool being able to meet all of these different creators. However, in this video, I'm going to be telling you the story of how I got to the finals in Digigames. And let me just say, buckle in because this is insane, as I didn't even think I was going to make it past the group stage. So without further ado, let's begin the story of how I made it to the finals in Digigames. So this all started when we first loaded into the lobby, into the group stage, where me and 9 other creators all first met each other in the rehearsals. And in these rehearsals, it gives you a little chance to practice and meet some other creators and discuss how you're feeling about the event. So in these rehearsals, we done 2 games. One of these games being Russian Roulette and the other game being Tag. And this was also still a bit of fun, but was so nerve-wracking, as we all wanted to see how this was actually going to end up on the proper day of Digigames. So everyone took it so seriously. However, in the rehearsals, we first done Russian Roulette, and this didn't go very well for me, as me and Pepsi D were the first 2 out. As Pepsi D was the first person out, and then I was the next. So this gave us the idea that if we do Russian Roulette, we are done for. However, this took a turn, as we just respawned and we went again. But in the actual Digigames, you have 1 life and 1 life only, so you have to make the most of it. Anyway, we turned off our VR after the rehearsals and charged up ready for a few days later for the actual Digigames. But in the meantime, we also got our own custom cosmetic which you can buy in Digigods right now. And it's only $5, so feel free to help me out. And there's also a coconut on the back, and even a little moustache as well. But to find it, you need to follow my path that I go. First, you follow me over to the creator's cosmetic stand. When you get here, click torso, and then on one of these, you might have to click right a couple of times as well. But on one of these stands will be my cosmetic named Hammerboy365 shirt. Once you get that, put it onto your character and it will come up with the purchase options. Once this comes up, you can then buy my cosmetic and it goes directly to me. So it really helps me out. Anyway, back on with the video. So I then got my custom cosmetic which I was able to wear during the actual Digigames. And this was also part of the contract. However, after a few days had gone by, the actual Digigames arrived. And I was so nervous. Like, I don't think I've ever been more nervous, as this tournament was for $10,000 and I had never done anything like this. However, after we'd spoke for a little while with the other creators, the first game began, and being in round 1 was not easy, as we had almost 200 people watching us live on the Digigods channel, which is insane. And if you was there supporting me, I just want to say a massive thank you. And for our first challenge that we had to take part in, it was a Digigods obstacle course. And for this, I didn't really know what to expect, as I've played Digigods quite a lot before, but this was something completely different to what I'd expected. However, with this, I completely locked in and I managed to be one of the 2 that had finished the whole thing. So I was chilling for that round. But that was until the next game. And this one wasn't going to be as easy, as this one was the one I was dreading the most. And it was red light, green light. And with this one, I struggled quite a bit. But luckily, I still managed to make it through. And part of this game was you had to vote out 2 or 3 people. And as Zone was the first person to cross the line, he had to vote out 2 people. And he did not like this. And we stood nervously waiting and waiting and waiting. And I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of spoke to Zone quite a bit before. However, I weren't sure what he was gonna do. And I didn't know whether because I knew him, he might vote me out on purpose. However, I got really lucky and he voted out 2 of the other contestants. So Zone, if you're watching this, thank you so much. However, now that this round was over, another game was in line ready, and we was all scared. And as the map loaded in, we saw what it actually was. And this was a keycard hunt, but there was actually a big twist. However, currently, at this point in time, the teams are actually unfair. This is because at the moment, it's only me and Tree versus 3 of the other contestants. So, of course, Digigames had to do a big twist. And they offered one of the other contestants $1,000 to vote out one of their teammates. And of course, they took it. So, with that being said, it was now down to a 2v2 again. Me and Tree versus the other 2 on the other team. And make sure to fully focus during this round, as this has a huge part to play for the end of this game. So, without further ado, let me explain a little bit more. So, the game begun and me and Tree ran off straight away trying to find this key as quick as possible. As for this one, if you couldn't find the key in time, you lose, meaning that is your life done. and you are out of the competition completely. So me and Tree are looking through every single locker. However, in these lockers, there are also tricks, such as lasers and sticky notes. And I was panicking as I could not find anything. But that was until...
It's here. Hammer.
Yes, you heard that right. Tree found the key card and we managed to escape in time. Or did we? As we were standing there waiting for the final result until we heard a huge twist. The judges said the winner is, meaning it wasn't confirmed yet. And me and Tree had a huge panic as we thought we had actually lost. But in the end, it was all okay and we did actually win that round. Meaning it was now down to a 1v1 between me and Tree. And the only reason I got hit is because of Tree. So Tree, also, if you're watching this, thank you for that as well. But now this is where the main part gets interesting, as this is a 1v1 to the final. So the loser gets absolutely nothing. But the winner of this round will have a chance of winning the $10,000 in the final between the last 7 contestants. So this was all to play for. So at this point, me and Tree had a bit of a rivalry going on. And for this one, it was the ragdoll bumper stick fight. And this one was so stressful. As with this, game started and I wanted to try something. As in Digigods, there is actually a mechanic where you can grab the floor, meaning you can't get hit. Or so I thought. And as the game master began the game, I wanted to try this out. So I grabbed the floor to test if I could grab the floor. And I could. So I thought, oh, I'm safe. I'm going to be all okay. And that was until Tree ran up and hit me with the bumper sticks. And I went flying across the map. But luckily, because I knew this mechanic, I grabbed the floor and I stopped myself from falling off. Which I still don't know how I done, judging that I was stressing so much. However, this was only the start. As I got up, I jumped up by accident and I got hit again. And this time, I had no control of where I was. And I was flying all the way through the air with no idea where I was until I landed on the edge of the arena. And we thought this was out of bounds. However, it turns out it wasn't, and I was still in the game. So me and Tree stood there for a minute, a bit confused of what was actually going on, until we just carried on fighting. And with this, I managed to hit Tree off, and I managed to get into the finals of Digigames. And this was a huge deal, as I'm not gonna lie, I had no confidence going into this tournament. So I turned off my VR after winning a console and 500 bundles for all of you. So if you want to have a chance of winning one of these bundles in Digigods for completely free, make sure to join the Discord and like and subscribe and follow my TikTok as well to have a chance of this giveaway. All of these will be linked down below, so make sure to go and check it out so you don't miss out. Anyway, carrying on with the tournament. So I turned off my VR, put it on charge, ready for the tournaments that started at 1 o'clock in the morning in the UK. So I was so tired, but I finished watching all of the streams leading up to my game, and I got a few bits of footage just for some funny moments and other groups' key moments of the tournament. So I'll play a few right here just so you can see what else went on with these games. However, the time slowly ticked on, and I waited for hours for this, as I had nothing to do all evening except watch the Digigames. So technically, I watched the Digigames stream for almost 9 hours, which is crazy. And yes, I know, I do touch grass, don't worry. However, when the time slowly hit 1 o'clock in the morning, I thought it's probably time to finally get on and join the lobby, ready for the final match to decide the winner of the whole of the Digigames. So we played a few games, it was all going really well. I managed to win the musical chairs and not get out on that round. I managed to not die in the Russian roulette somehow, but that was until the key hunt. And let me just tell you, I was so upset when I heard this one, but I just had to give it a go and give it my best shot, because I hadn't done any of these other games such as the Russian roulette musical chairs, and now also the key hunt. And I still don't know how I managed to do this, but I actually done okay on the musical chairs and even the Russian roulette, which I was the most nervous about since the rehearsals. However, I relaxed myself and prepared, ready for this game. So the game begun, and we was all running around like headless chickens looking for these keys. But there was a little sneaky advantage that I didn't actually know about, and that is that all of these other contestants that was in my lobby had already done this game, and I hadn't. So they already knew where all the keys were. So after hearing that, I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't really have a chance of winning, to be honest. But it's all part of the game, I suppose. And I'm still really grateful to even get to the final. However, this is where it all goes wrong, as I was looking everywhere for these keys, and I have no idea how these people found so many, but this was very disappointing, as the highest someone got was 12, and I got 7, meaning I was out of the tournament. No. But I'm just going to play this clip for you, as I was actually so grateful for the reaction that I got, and it did actually mean a lot, because when you're in Digigames, you sort of just make friends with everyone in there. So to even get this reaction after only knowing them for less than an hour was insane. So if you're all watching this who was all part of the final, thank you all so much. Anyway, let me just play the clip and show you what happened.
Unless there's one in my back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
No, I'm
As of right now, Hammer Boy, you are our elimination.
No!
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No!
You are safe.
No!
Hammer Boy, unfortunately, you failed to collect enough keys. You are eliminated.
No! Rest in peace, Hammer Boy.
No, actually, Hammer Boy, no, actually, oh, God.
It's fine, it's fine. Good luck.
No,
Thank
bro.
you.
Bro.
Sadly, that was my tournament over, but I'm still grateful to meet all of these amazing creators and even get the chance to play a VR game in front of 100 and something people. It's insane. And to even get this opportunity and have my own in-game cosmetic in a game this big, it's unreal. I didn't expect to get this far with my VR content. But anyway, the game was over. I was out. However, I wanted to keep watching, even though it was pretty much 2:30 in the morning. I carried on watching, and this bit got so tense, as it was a 1v1 for $10,000 with 2 of my friends, Joa and Skittle King. So I wanted both of them to win, but of course there can only be one winner. And let me just say, this went on for so long, and I did not expect it to go on for this long. However, I carried on watching and watching and watching until we finally got the winner, which was Joa. So congratulations to Joa, and unlucky Skittle King. It was actually really fun watching this, and it was such a good final round. These things happen. So if you did enjoy watching the Digigames, if you was able to watch, or if you did enjoy watching this video, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and join the Discord so you have a chance of winning these bundles, because I have 500 to give away. So this is gonna probably take a while, but if you want to have a chance of being in this giveaway, please make sure to join, as it would really help me out, and it would just help support my community. But without further ado, that is the end of this video, and that is my story of how I got to the finals in Digigames. So thank you all for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you want to watch more, and I'll see you in the next video. So click one of the videos in the top corner of the screen, and goodbye.